thing. We haven't gone through a season yet with his moves. I was telling Mike the other week. I mean, we're bringing a lot of these bargain buys, and the two linebackers are just coming off of injuries. I just hope that we're not sitting halfway through this season saying, "Wow, we got what we paid for. We went after all these bargains to make moves and this and that." And I just hope that we didn't, downgrade in the sense that we're all going, "Oh, geez, we should have, waited, hold off, or spent a little bit more money." Or that's my only concern with Omar Khan's approach so far. And the only way that we're ever going to know is wait till this season is through. And
you don't know until we start playing.
You bring in an old cornerback, you bring in a couple linebackers coming off of injury, But anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Two Dum Yinzers. This is episode 296, everybody. And guess what? It is draft day. It is freaking draft day. Finally. We all couldn't wait for this. We've been talking about this for months, ever since the Super Bowl. And for us here in Pittsburgh, it's been ever since the end of December, beginning of January.
I've been salivating for this day to arrive. And now that it's here, you know how I feel?
You're going to sleep through it.
I feel like I'm probably am. I've been up since 10:30 last night.
You're the only person that's been talking about this draft for a year now.
I've been up since 10:30 last night. I had to be at work at leave my house at 2 to go to work this morning, and I've been up since, and I don't know when I'm going to get a nap. I don't know what we're doing for the draft tonight.
Maybe this is the day you just got to bite the bullet, Mike, and just say, fuck it. I'll stay up and, go and do what I got to do afterwards. And it might be worth it. Because if that pick 32 comes around and we still have it, we're still picking at the end of the night.
You know what? I hope we trade up for personal reasons. I hope we trade up to 9, get that pick so I can go to bed. I don't care who we get. We can draft some dude who we probably could have gotten the 6th round at 9, and I would be happy. I'm going to bed. I can't wait. I am so excited. But today I'm just like, it's draft day.
That's usually how it goes, though.
I have a feeling though, once 4 o'clock hits, I'm gonna get that energy.
Does this day feel like Christmas to you, Mike?
No.
Well, not because you don't get to sit on a guy's lap.
It's more like Thanksgiving.
More like Thanksgiving?
I saw my boss this morning. I'm like, you know what today is? He's like, it's Christmas, baby. I'm like, yeah. And that's
more like Thanksgiving, Mike.
No. Today is Christmas.
Well, Mike reserves Christmas for his right to sit on another man's lap. So that's kind of how we go off of that. So I don't know whose lap you're going to be sitting on today. But this is
I'm
Christmas.
coming over.
And a lot of people are excited because this offseason has been a bang. And as you guys were saying earlier, that Omar Khan, what he's done, he's come in, he's been the anti-Kevin Colbert. And people were loving it, and I'm loving it. And you can't help but be excited about what's going on. We had just a little bit better than a 500 season last year. We're expecting bigger things next year, especially with all these moves, getting another year under the belts of the players that we already have, and the defense coming in with a different mindset, I hope, because as we finished the season last year, the defense really built a confidence and a cohesiveness with one another, and it really felt if the season would have continued on, that defense would have played to their full potential. So hopefully, this defense that Omar Khan is assembling, they can come out the gate and play the way that they did with the mindset that they did, bring it right into the season, and let's take off, hitting the ground running is what I'm hoping for.
Same here, man. I can't wait to see what's going to happen, man. We're at just under 8.5 hours. 8.5 hours.
You've been doing this for about 13 hours. Every 7 minutes on the minute, you tell me this. We have 13 hours and 6 minutes. We have 12 hours and 59 minutes.
So
10 or 9.
So we, Carolina
Panthers can't go any slower because
Carolina Panthers are on the clock right now. Okay.
Yes.
Within a matter of mere hours, Omar Khan is officially going to be on the clock. And you know what? As we sit here talking about it, as I'm ready to throw YouTube out the window because it won't let me edit stuff right now, I'm getting amped up for the draft. The anger's coming up. The adrenaline's rising. So when they pick, some idiotic pick at 17, I can throw my computer out the window.
Yeah.
And now I'm ready to go, boys.
And it is draft day, and I'd like to introduce my team. The number one pick in everyone's heart is Derpy. He's here with us this morning. And the number one pick to most likely piss me off is Mike, and he's here this morning. Welcome, welcome to the team, everybody.
You know what? Just for that, today's episode title is going to be called "These Two Clueless Guys Attempt a Draft Preview. Can it work?" That's the preview. That's the title of the episode.
What's it called? No, don't do that. What are you doing? What's it called?
These Two Clueless Guys Attempt a Draft Preview. Can it work? It's going to be These Two Dum Yinzers Attempt a Draft Preview. Can it work? That's going to be.
Can it work? What is that?
Can it work? Because we're two dumb Yinzers. Can we make this work?
You're not letting the AI pick these titles again, are you?
Yes, I am.
Because there was something sketchy the other day I picked up on. I thought there's no way a human being actually worded anything this way.
Oh, I did this and it was great.
What was like yesterday's?
Yesterday was a good one. Yesterday was the one where nutting was making it rain.
I made that one. I made that thumbnail.
Those are the ones that are, Mike. Those are.
I've been making all the thumbnails recently. You know,
the thumbnail, like those ones that, like, you take that one that you did yesterday and look back at the ones that you did like that. Those are the best. The way those look and how you had Brian Reynolds and you had nutting and you had the city in the background. Those, in my opinion, are your best thumbnails. If you look back at all the ones that you made like that,
yeah,
they're head and shoulders.
Players.
They're head and shoulders better. The ones with the baseball players. Don't even get me started. But those ones are head and shoulders better than everything else, Mike.
I know, but that's like a lot of work goes into that for me.
Is it really?
Yeah, like I have to think. I have to go find stuff. Like the one I have today, that's going to be up here in just a second. I liked it. It's like the final draft preview. I got 3 potential targets.
Well, you like the
coming
ones
to the Pittsburgh.
You like the ones that had the backward arms too, so you can't go by you.
That was inebriated Mike making that decision. Okay, Mike may have had a little cocktails after work before he started working on the show, and this is what you get. Okay, you get what you pay for, and you knew what you got when we started this project together. Okay, you knew you got a simpleton.
It's like, the thing is, it's night and day. One end, your thumbnails are amazing. I mean, just amazing. I look at these things and I marvel, and the other ones I look at it and I'm just dumbfounded. And I thought this came from the same person. I honestly can't believe it.
Someday, you know how it goes, man. Some days you're more creative than the other.
Yeah.
And this is just what happens. Like, take a look at the thumbnail I made today.
I don't want to. I'm gonna hold off on it because we still have to talk, and I just
like Derpy. Go take a look at my thumbnail. You like it.
While you guys are doing this, I do want to say that big show coming up in the summer in June. I don't know if you fellas heard this. Dave Chappelle is coming to PPG Paints Arena. I think I will be attending the Dave Chappelle comedy show.
We have. Do you mind if I piggyback off of this too?
Yeah.
Not only Dave Chappelle, which is going to be huge when he comes through, and when was that again?
June.
In June, and I think again in November. Pittsburgh's own, another world-renowned comedian, Anthony Jeselnik, coming in. So Pittsburgh, man, entertainment options for the summer and the winter.
I do love going up to the arena for comedy shows. I am more than likely
a banger
going to spend my entertainment dollars this summer going to the Dave Chappelle show. Is at least one of the things. We do have other things that we're going to be doing this summer.
Yes.
But Dave Chappelle, I'm very excited about that.
I saw that today. I forgot about who you mentioned. Now I'm excited for that one too. I'm also excited for the Jeselnik one too. I want to see if I can make both of them. I think they're both two of the best comedians working today. Two probably the best of all time. They like Dave Chappelle, legitimately probably top 5. Jeselnik is working his way up the ranks into like the top 10, top 5 himself as well. Of my God, you have people like Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock. The great acts coming through to Pittsburgh, baby. I love comedy.
Let me lead off. Lead off today.
I'm amped.
The revenge game, guys. The Pittsburgh Pirates dropped the game 2 nights ago.
I see what you did there, Ryan.
You like that?
Good one.
They lost 2 nights ago to the Dodgers. They let the Dodgers sneak back into the game 8-7. They wasn't going to let that happen again last night. They took a commanding 8-0 lead in this baseball game, never looked back. Final score on this game was 8-1 the Pirates. makes the series 1 game apiece. Rubber game today at 12:35. 1 hour from now, guys. As soon as you get done with the show, you can flip over to AT&T Pittsburgh Sports. Check out the Pirates to see if they could win the series, guys. The Pirates are sitting at 17-8, while the Dodgers sit at 13-12. The game last night, fellas. Pirates had 12 hits. Dodgers had 4. Contreras had a great night on the hill. Roansy had a great night. He had 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And that wasn't even the best part. The bats, guys, unbelievable what this team is doing on offense right now.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom 3, once again, listen to these bottom 3 numbers. Of course, I'm talking about the 7, 8, 9 hitters. Bottom 3 went 8 for 11 last night. 8 for 11. These are your bottom 3. They went 8 for 11, 6 RBIs, 4 runs, 4 stolen bases. G1 Bay had 3 hits. He was one of these 3. He had 3 stolen bases.
Whoa.
Yeah, he had 3 stolen bases. And check this out. The Bucks had 6 stolen bases altogether last night, which puts them at first in the majors with 34 stolen bases. They're ahead of everybody else in the league. And Bay,
base running is key to baseball.
And he absolutely. And G1 Bay is second in the majors as an individual in steals. In the performance that we had last night with the 6 stolen bases is the most that the Pittsburgh Pirates had in one game since 1989. Guys, they're doing things this season that they haven't done since the division winning teams in the early 90s. So, hopefully that's encouraging to people. Again, we're only 25 games. We're 25 games into the season. We're sitting at 17-8. Could be a lot worse. Couldn't be much better. But you look at the next couple teams we play. Tampa Bay, they did lose last night. They're sitting at 20-5. They're the only team that's better. Where the Atlanta Braves are also the same as we are, 17-8. So we still do possess the second best record in the majors. And we still
the Brewers
are.
Lose?
The Brewers won.
Oh.
So we still own the 1-game lead on them, but everybody else lost. I mean, the Cardinals are 8 games out. They lost again. The Reds lost. The Cubbies lost. So everybody gets pushed back a little bit. A lot of good things going on for this ball club right now. And as I was saying, delay, he was at the bottom of 3. He had 3 hits. But I think the one thing about this game, guys, that at the end of the day, everybody was excited about this game. I mean, you're winning 8-0.
Yeah.
The one thing didn't come so late in the game.
I was so happy with this.
When Maggi gets an at bat, they put him in. It's been 13 seasons that he was in the minor leagues.
Mm-hmm.
They put him in.
Wow.
He hits a nice foul ball down the line. If that would have been fair, now let me paint it for you. He gets a standing ovation, of course. There wasn't a dry eye in PNC Park. Everybody loved this situation. Everybody loved this moment. Everybody liked to be a part of it. Maggi ended up striking out, but it was still a really awesome moment. He made it. He made it to the bigs. For all those people out there that
He made it.
All these people that have the big dreams and you don't know if you're ever going to make it. If you really want it, you know what I mean? Maybe this is a message for those people, because it's just amazing. As I said, it was great to watch, and I can imagine it was even greater to be in the house for this situation. And great for him. That's super awesome. Again, Pirates back at it today. Mitch Keller on the hill. We're back to the top of the rotation. We could win this one, guys.
Who's he facing?
You know what? I can't think of the guy's name.
Hold on.
He's sitting there at 3-2. He's slightly better in the ERA. I believe he's their number 1 as well. I just can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
Not
Julio, yeah. Urias, Urias. I'm sorry, I cannot get that pronunciation down.
I don't think I've ever heard of him.
Yeah, but my Spanish is not that well.
This is a big game.
Good.
And then once we play today, then we're off to Washington for a weekend series against the Nationals. And then we head down to Tampa Bay to start next week off against the, as of right now, 20-5 Rays. So, I mean, if we can make it a nice little run to that point, that could be a huge marquee series, especially for Major League Baseball and fans all around the country. Really get into that. It's going to be exciting, guys. So, as I said, the Buccos they got their revenge on the Dodgers.
I love it.
And you know what? I mean, a lot of people were scratching their heads after the first game of the series. What do we have here? I mean, we just blew this lead. We lost to this team that's, they're one of the better teams in the National League. And I think last night really confirmed to people that, you know what, we're not going to let them push us around. We come back, it's 8-0. We win 8-1. So people are confident again. And like I said, you win this game, that's big. You win this game, that's big. You go down to Washington with an 18-8 record. As a Pittsburgh baseball fan, you can't really ask for much more than that.
No, you can't. And my God, like we all thought coming into this year, okay, maybe O'Neal Cruz will perform a little bit better than he did last year in those games that we saw. Maybe take that next step. Hopefully, Brian Reynolds rebounds a little bit. Hopefully, Kutch has a little bit left in the tank. Don't know what you're going to get out of Santana. Don't know what you're going to get out of Rich Hill and the rest of this pitching. And my God, so far, everything has worked out better than rational fans, rational members of the media's expectations. Now, you have the extreme fans that are saying, "Oh yeah," all off season are saying this was going to happen, but
they were saying that because you're saying it when we had 100 losses.
Yeah, because you got I love their optimism. I wish I could be that optimistic about anything in my life, but this team is outperforming the rational, wildest expectations, and I'm happy to see it. I just want to keep it going for as long as we can because it's fun. It's fun to actually be able to look at the baseball scores and not cringe, not be you have to hide who you're a baseball fan of when you're talking to people. Like, oh yeah, I'm a Pirate fan. I'm like, hey man, I'm a Pirate fan. You feel good being a Pirate fan now.
Yeah,
and hopefully, I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't know. Bob Nutting said, this what we did with Reynolds, that it's just the beginning.
And they're starting to look like a real baseball team by doing these things that they're doing. So hopefully
spend the money. See what's happening.
Right. You're a businessman. You should know what an investment is. And, for some reason you haven't been investing in your players and now you are. So let's see the return that you're going to get. It could be 10 years of quality baseball opposed to.
Yeah. Hopefully he learned his lesson from the last time he didn't invest in the club and invest in the players.
I'm going to say this. Mike might not like this.
I'm sure he won't.
We sacrificed the Penguins so the Pirates could thrive.
You know what? The Penguins are going to be fine. They're going to be back
all right,
next year. But the also, guys, Milwaukee is off today, so that does give us an opportunity to gain a half game if we do win.
All right.
However, if we lose, we only lose a half game, so we will still be in first place by the end of this day, no matter what happens. So that's encouraging as well. Guys, it's a lot of fun. Again, 12:35. We get off the air today. Don't forget to put that on your television. Now I'm going to snap it back to Mike. He's going to lead us into some football. We got draft day today. We have I got some other football news.
Can I touch on something in the NBA that's kind of echoes throughout the whole sports world?
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone saw Giannis's press conference.
No,
asked if this was a failure, and Mike, go out of your way and go and watch that press conference where he laid it out. Like, it's disappointing, but it's not a failure. We set out to win a championship. It didn't happen, but you know what? This is just a step on the journey. And next year you build on that and hope you win it again. He was like, Michael Jordan played in the league 16 years, won 9 championships. Are all those other years failures? No, they led to something else. And we're hoping this will lead to us winning again. We had 50 years where we didn't win a championship until we won last year. Well, that's 50 years of failure. No, it was 50 years of effort in trying to win. I think more pro athletes, more people should look at sports that way. He's like, you don't fail.
So the last 40 years have been trying. They haven't been failures for the Pirates.
See, that response there is probably the most controlled response ever in sports.
Yeah, he held it. He held his emotions in check. And he just like when I first heard about it, I was like, "Oh God, what did he say?" Then I actually watched the whole interaction between him and the reporters, and it was a very good insight to like a healthy mindset when it comes to sports. To where, yeah, you can see he was disappointed they didn't win, but he channeled the energy in a positive way to set up.
That's the right
building
answer
into the future.
Exactly.
It's the right answer. It was what he was supposed to say. Now listen to the truth of it. The truth of it is this: if your team is stagnant for 15 years, that's not good. You're not rebuilding.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
not.
that's
You know
true,
what I'm saying? You should be at some point.
I would
be
say
a competitive team. For the Milwaukee Bucks to be terrible for 50 years, I think that's bullshit. he said the right thing.
Yeah.
But it just all depends on how you look at it, because in the big picture, it's not 100% true.
Not all it doesn't apply all the time across the board, but go out of your way, go take a look at this interview. And I think more athletes, more people who like watch sports and get too emotionally invested in it, just watch that, listen to what he said.
It's definitely a better response than most athletes.
Oh god. I would have been MF in that. I would have been MF in that reporter.
Didn't they lose to the 8th seed or
they lost, and like he was hurt.
Yeah,
they lost, and he was John got hurt early in the series, and I put them down, and he balled out in that game. So just go out of your way, watch that. I just wanted to throw that out there to like just sports fans in general, and it's kind of like good life advice anyway too. Like, yes, you may have not got your goal, but guess what? That's a step in the direction. You keep fighting, you keep striving, and just keep going. Don't look at it as a failure. Look at it as a setback, but also learning experience and a building experience.
That was awesome.
Yeah, his whole message was, as long as you are trying and doing the right things, it don't consider yourself a failure.
There you go, Mike, with his life.
You know what?
His life advice.
I've had a couple Turner iced teas from.
And because
I'm feeling good.
And because of these moves that Mike is pulling, I'm going to strip the ball back off and take it back over to my side of the field.
I'm sorry. I know.
Draft today, guys. The draft 8 p.m.
This is why you
tonight.
never let me control a
going
segment.
on. Everybody's excited. You have teams from 32 cities. Well, 30 cities. Some teams are backed out from this, that, changes, trades, this and the other, because the Pittsburgh Steelers, we're on the board as of right now at the 17 spot and the 32 spot. Oh, we're going to do a couple of things today, guys. Do you think, Mike, that this team is going to have 2 picks today? Or do you think they're going to make moves to only have 1 pick? Do you think that they're going to make moves to, what do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do? I don't want to know who they draft. I don't know who you think or who.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's just 1 pick.
You think we're going to pick once or twice tonight?
You know what? Omar Khan is an aggressive man.
Yes.
I'm saying we're picking twice. I'm saying we're picking.
I don't think 32 counts as a second pick, though.
32 is a second round pick, but I think
that
is a second round pick, isn't it?
It is second round pick.
That actually won't be till
the next day. But I didn't think about this.
He might use 17 to get 2 in the.
Use 32 and 49, trade up and get 2 impact players in the first round on both sides of the ball,
and then sit out till 10 rounds later when we pick again.
You pick in the third.
Yeah. Personally, I'd rather have
basically skip out on our second round.
You would flip your 2 second rounders into a first rounder.
32 and 49.
Yeah, you pick 17, and wherever those 2 picks can get you, if you get 2 stud players to change the side, lock down the positions. Look into it, man. It's being aggressive in your, if you can get two studs, one on the offensive line, one in the secondary, I would be very intrigued. I'd be very intrigued. So I don't think it's going to happen, but now that you did this little exercise, I'm kind of intrigued by it, because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about that. You packaging those 2 picks up to move up and to grab a second first round pick.
Right.
Because if you get a guy sitting there at the tail end of the draft,
which there's going to be,
but if you don't think they're going to fall to 32, move up, trade 32 and maybe your third, keep that 1 second round pick and move up.
So will 32 be the first pick tomorrow?
32 is the first pick tomorrow.
Yeah.
We own the number 1 overall.
Well, there you go,
round.
Derpy. You're going to be there. You're going to be live. You're going to be watching the very first pick of the day, and that's going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler pick. That's pretty awesome.
Yes, sir.
Our Derpy's going to be down at the draft party, which he coincidentally uninvited us from.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody remembers early on.
I did.
Derpy made plans. And,
he's like on air goes, "Hey guys, I got us to try to get to the first round of the draft." 2 days later, my dad and I, we're going to the second round. He was like, "F you guys." I was like, damn.
But
I wasn't going to say anything. I was not going to say a word,
because our Derpy is going to be present. He's going to be present for 2 picks, possibly less, possibly who knows. Like I said, it's all going to depend what happens tonight. They might take picks, they might bundle them, trade them, move them up, move them down. We don't know. But all I do know is if we have a 32nd pick overall. Derpy will be there for the very first pick of the night, and that's going to be really cool, man. Really cool, Derpy.
It's gonna rain,
But
but I'm gonna be there because I'm a part of Steel Nation. I'm
That's
always
right.
there day one.
That's right, Ram. Rain, snow, whatever.
He's like the mailman. Rain, snow, sleet, hail. I will be right there.
Yes.
Let me ask you guys this: who do you think? Now, who's on the board first? Is it Houston?
No, Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina.
Who's Carolina going to take?
Ooh.
Because a lot of people were. I mean, we're going to get into something that Mike and I was talking about off the camera before about one of the players that were projected to be very high, one of the top few picks, but something came up, and I don't even know if that's going to even make a difference when it comes down to it. But before we even get into that, who do you think, guys? Who do you think is going to be the number one draft pick in the 2023 NFL draft?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
But
Bryce Young. The coach and the owner and the GM really like Bryce Young. The coach, his quarterbacks that he's had in the past, more similar fit to CJ Stroud, but usually ownership gets what they want, so that's why I'm leaning towards Bryce Young.
I'm gonna say Bryce Young too.
Why do you say Bryce Young, Derpy? I want to know because I know that Ohio State is your squad.
Because
why would you say
because
CJ?
it's Bryce Young from Alabama.
Yeah, but this is CJ Stroud from Ohio State. That's when you're talking quality of colleges and football teams. Those you don't mention top teams many times without throwing Ohio State in there. I know Alabama's always in there, but very rarely.
What can I say?
Ohio State is not left out of that group.
I know. They're just biased to the SEC, I guess.
Okay, fair enough.
Teams don't look at that when they evaluate players. Like the conference play, I don't think that doesn't come in that much unless like if you're talking head like Todd McShay or Mel Kiper Jr. or Bucky Brooks. You're looking at like the conference they played in. Like if you're looking at that way in your front office, you're going to miss out on a lot of good players.
Yeah,
because you look how many guys that go to Alabama and never make it to the NFL. Or they make it and they're out within a year. And look at like guys like my God, Ike Taylor came from Louisiana Lafayette and was one of the better cornerbacks in the league for almost a decade.
Alabama, he might have had hands.
Yeah, if he would have been from Alabama, he would have had hands. No, God, who's our other outside linebacker? Alex Highsmith. He came from Charlotte.
Yeah.
So you got it. You can't scout the helmet. You got to scout the player. And bad teams tend to scout the helmet and not the player. And so I think CJ Stroud may be a little inflated, and also Bryce Young because of the talent they had around them.
Oh, absolutely.
But it can go hand in hand.
Look
too.
at
These receivers or these
receivers, or what this cat is down at Georgia. This team was amazing the past 2 seasons. Unbelievable. This guy ain't going to go till late round. It's just the talent that was around him. We all know that.
Yeah. But then that's when you got to hope what you see on game film, you kind of forget about who's around them. Just look at their decisions, look at their mechanics.
Falls in that category.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's hard to judge the quarterbacks it's hard to judge quarterbacks in the draft from anywhere because you don't have talent around you. Are you really this bad? Oh, you have talent around you. Are you really this good?
I have a theory.
It's hard to gauge.
And this is going to lead into what we're going to talk about next.
All right.
You got to be, in my opinion, for the most part, it's not 100% across the board, but for the most part, you have to be an intelligent person to be a quarterback. And why I say this is because a lot of these great athletes, they've always been higher talent level than everybody else they ever play with. When these guys are in high school, they're dominant. They're better than everybody else. They go to college, they're better than everybody else. They always have their talent. So when you get to the NFL, when everybody's as fast as you, everybody's as strong as you, everybody is, it evens out the playing field. You then have to use this to figure out how to win these games. You can't just take your raw talent, go run around the end and score touchdowns every time like you did on level 1, or go into level 2 and have Tom Brady, perfect example. This guy, he's smart. He came out of the 6th round. Nobody expected this guy to be anything in the NFL. And I'm not saying that you have to be only smart. You got to be a great, you got to be a pretty damn good quarterback. And as I said, to be a quarterback, you got to be very smart. You got to be able to read things. You got to be able to remember, 600 plays. There's so much that goes into the quarterback. And you see guys that are struggling right now in the league, young guys, because the little things like that, learning the offense. You got to be a smart guy. You got to be a smart guy. You got to be a smart guy if you're going to be successful in the NFL. Is it 100% proof? No. But if you would take the starting quarterbacks and the best quarterbacks and the quarterbacks who are most successful, these are smart guys. I guarantee Joe Burrow is a smart guy. I guarantee it. This guy's no dummy. And this is going to take me to what I want to talk about next. What is this S2 score that I'm reading about now? Because CJ Stroud, it was reported that he had one of the lowest, but he had the lowest S2 score amongst quarterbacks. Quote, he had a very low score. Brock Purdy, he aced this S2 test last year. What's your take on this, Mike?
I echo what CJ Stroud said. I'm a football player.
They're all football players.
I'm not a test taker.
Once you get to the level where everybody's as good as you then have to have this, because you have to figure out a way to use your talent to be better than the guy in front of you. It's not just out talenting them because you're better.
Yeah, CJ Stroud said, like, people are good at taking tests and other people are not good taking a test and can still know the information. That's so I like.
You think that's the case with this guy?
Watching him play at Ohio State, and that's a pretty
with mad weapons around him. It certainly makes his life easier. But let's just say he goes to a bad team, and he's no longer the top dog. He's at the bottom of the food chain. Is that going to affect him?
I don't think so. No, because you watch him play, he made good decisions while he played. He was able to read defenses. So there's smarts, and then there's smarts in your job, in your profession. And if he has football smarts, that I'm okay with that. My God, just because that's
the case.
I think that's the case. When I was in college, I worked around a lot of lawyers and judges. They were very good at what they did there, but outside of that, some of them were dumber than a box of rocks. They were good at one particular focus. Like doctors are good at one particular thing. Outside of that, they can be dumber than a box of rocks. So football players could be good just at football, dumber than a box of rocks at anything else. As long as you have football IQ, I'd rather have that than just high IQ. Because look, quarterbacks who have aced the old Wonderlic test went on to do nothing. But again, people who had low Wonderlic scores went on to have damn good careers. So, and I think there's an agenda too, because out of nowhere, all this stuff is coming out about CJ Stroud. Where was all this stuff before? Now, all of a sudden, like a week before the draft, we're getting all this stuff.
That's what they do, though. They find something negative. Let's just say you might have had small hands, or for example, once they find one thing that they pound away.
Yep. And then you watch your drafts. Then I guarantee you this is coming from a team who wants to see his draft stock plummet, because either A, they want to get him, or B, they don't want a team in their own division getting this quarterback. They hope they pass on him and go to another position or another player. So I think this is just done.
This guy has potential to be a serious superstar in the NFL.
I do. Just based on when I watched him play and just watch the way he played in that championship game. He led that team down on that final drive until their idiot kicker missed that gimme field goal. He showed he can ball out. He showed he's a big time player. He can make the big time throw.
Did they lose to? They lost to
Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he it's not like he was going up against an Illinois defense or William and Mary defense. No, he went up against one of the best, if not the best, defenses in the nation, and he balled out. He had a really good game. So that's what gives me hope in the future that he's going to be able to make the right reads, make the right throws.
I've never watched Ohio State in my life.
Yeah.
So I know very little. I see highlights. I know what the talking heads say about him. So that's why I'm asking a lot of questions.
Yeah. No. I every time I watched him play, I came away impressed.
Darby, what do you think? What's your do you think that do you know anything about this S2 test? Do you know anything about him as a person? Do you know anything about him as his character? Do you see, in all honesty, not just because you are a Buckeye fan, Derpy, do you see CJ Stroud being a guy that could be a possible superstar, or is he just another one of these young athletic quarterbacks that's coming and they're a dime a dozen at this point? What do you think?
CJ Stroud thinks of his teammates before himself.
That's a good sign. Okay.
Tell you that much.
Do you think this guy could be a success? Do you think this guy comes in Carolina, for example, and starts to change the organization around? Let me ask you that.
I do, if they actually have weapons around him. Same with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
That's the thing with a lot of young quarterbacks. You have to start to have weapons around you. And I would have, like any quarterback, do with no weapons around them. How would Kenny have done last year if he didn't have Najee, if he didn't have Deontay, didn't have Pat Fryermuth, who had at least 1 year of experience in the NFL? How would Mac Jones, not Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, how would he have done if the Jaguars had a better team around him in year one? Where he had a better team around him in year two. We saw what he can do. Exactly. So it's that's what sucks with a lot of these young quarterbacks that get put on bad teams. Are their true talent can be able to go around them.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Say CJ Stroud was coming out of Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
Does that change your opinion on this athlete? You take the player that you've watched play. Does that change your opinion because he's not from Ohio State? He's not from Alabama. He's not from Michigan. Are we taking this as the helmet? Are we buying into this because, as you were saying earlier, the bad teams pick on the helmet a lot of times? Is that the case?
I don't think so. Like I said, like the handful of games I watched him play, right reads, correct decisions, not afraid to sit there and hang out in the pocket, take the big hit, willing to make plays, and he looks like he has it, like he can be that guy. Well, you are my people, so I take you guys' words 100%. So if CJ Stroud has a bad year this year as a rookie,
he fails, I'm going to hold you two both personally responsible for him having a bad year. So just know
like we're to grade him on the Kenny Pickett curve.
You can grade him however you want. I just want to, I said, I don't watch Ohio State. I have no interest. I have no invested interest. There's nothing. I watch them as much as I watch the Florida Gators.
No, I think he's going to be really good. I like him better than I like Bryce Young.
Okay.
Like Bryce Young, Bryce Young would make plays, but it just felt like he had to do more to get the play done just because of his stature. Just how short he is. And
answering your question, Mike, I did look it up briefly last night. Not changing the subject. Kenny is 6'3".
6'3", okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Yeah.
I did briefly remember last night.
Yeah, but like Bryce Young, if he was, it sounds weird, but if he's like just 2 inches taller at 6'1", I'd feel a lot better about him.
Yeah.
Because like not many quarterbacks have done well at like 5'11" or 6 foot what he is. So
right.
Like I think he makes good decisions. He can read the defense. I think it's just, my God, I think he's just going to get destroyed at height and weight with some of these big uglies going to be falling on him. I want to see him do well because he also, like CJ Stroud, seems like a good kid. You want him to do well, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to handle the physicality of the NFL.
Now, we know that the Detroit Lions has about 30 picks in the first round, it seems like. Let me ask you this. How many guys do you think that Detroit is going to end up snagging of people that we have mentioned? Because they need, some of the same positions we do. They mentioned their corners that they need. They might go in their first pick for a corner. They also need offensive line. How many Detroit Lions picks today, which I think it's a couple, we're correct, for 2 in the first round, 2 in the second round. Do you think they're going to get any of our guys before we get them?
That's what it is.
I think so.
Yeah, I do too, unfortunately.
I think because they're picking at 6, they're going to take.
And then they're like right after.
I should say Carter.
Yeah, they pick that. I think
they would be happy with Carter, to be 100% honest.
If he falls to 6, you put him on that D line. You put him on that line with Aiden Hutchinson, who defensive rookie of the year last year.
People are going to be laughing about this Detroit team if these things do happen. They are going to literally have to brain fart to screw this up at this point. They have everything is in their court.
Yeah, because they have Ali McNeil, really good inside guy. They have Isaiah Buggs, who wasn't able to develop here in Pittsburgh, but went up to Detroit and had to put together a really fine career. But my God, and you have Aiden Hutchinson on the outside. I forget who their other guy is on the outside. Charles Harris. I don't know much about them, but they have some guys. I think, my God, you add him to that defensive line. You add Jalen Carter to any defense.
Yeah.
You're just going to be swarming those quarterbacks in the NFC North.
Very interested in see where Mr. Carter lands. And the thing is, first 2-3 picks, you're going quarterback with Stroud, the other dude, and then
Young,
Levis. So
Anderson,
there's a good
Richardson,
chance that the Jalen Carter can certainly be still sitting there at 6. And
there's also a chance now too. Arizona's talking about taking, I think we talked about yesterday, getting Paris Johnson Jr. So that so Jalen Carter can fall down. Will Anderson Jr. can fall down, who many people consider the safest pick in the draft. But there's also talk he might go second to the Texans. They're like, hey, you know what? We'll get a quarterback at 12, see who's available. We'll be comfortable with any of them there at 12. So this draft, my God, I can also see
there's so many questions in this.
The Lions taking
the
Lions taking either Witherspoon or Gonzalez, two of the guys that we have interest in. Or and if they have pick 18, can they package that with a second round or a third round to move up even higher into the draft? Because they have 2 second-round picks. They pick 17 and 24 in the second round. So you package 18 and 24 in the second round, or 18 and 17 in the second round, you can move back up, have 2 top 10 picks.
Had a good hand with these picks. Jeez.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like this draft, I saw a tweet by I think it was either an anonymous front office person or former front office person saying this draft can be one of the most unpredictable drafts we have seen in a long time.
Yeah,
just because there's a lot of depth at positions, but there's others that are thin at positions, so people will be moving up, down. It's going to be, I hope there is a lot of trades.
And you know that Omar Khan is going to be on the edge of his seat with his phone in hand, ready to pounce.
Is he going to want to be that guy to make a big splash on his first draft? But he's been around. He's been around the team for a long time. He knows how they operate. He seems like a level-headed guy, but also not afraid to gamble. And I'm okay with that. If you want to gamble to go get
I've never loved a GM
player
before.
Right?
I'm going to be honest with you.
I love Jimmy Rutherford.
I think we're going to be
Craig Patrick. But
if the guys from the Penguins, I could dance around with the idea, but I've never loved
it, like a Steeler GM. Yeah. If he goes out and goes aggressive and say Jalen Carter's fallen, he gets him. Yeah, it's not a need, but my God, you get someone like that who can potentially be a generational
upgrading
talent.
Your defense greatly.
I would take it,
and we do need middle defense, and that's one thing that nobody's really even talked about.
He can play.
You need outside linebacker. You need the edge rusher. This, that, and the other. I just don't understand why the middle of that defensive line isn't talked about more. But he changes the game. You put Jalen Carter in that spot, the defense gets this much better immediately.
Yeah, he can play. Yeah, he can play inside, outside on that D line. I'm like, he would. If
the Eagles have called for 6, though, from what I've heard.
That's true. They do have 6, and
I wouldn't be surprised to see them take him.
Yeah, I know.
Their kind of guy.
Talk about the rich getting richer with the Eagles.
You ain't shit.
Exactly.
You lose the Super Bowl, and you still have a top 10 pick.
Yeah. And it's those teams. It's Philadelphia, it's Detroit, it's Chicago, it's Baltimore, Washington. These are the guys that are going to be snatching up our picks because
Is Baltimore pick ahead of us, or are they right behind?
They're right behind us.
Yeah, and I've seen mocks to where
we don't take Joey Porter Jr. I think that they're going to pounce on Porter.
I think by heart we're gonna take Joey Porter.
You think?
By heart.
We might.
And that wouldn't be a bad pick either.
No.
He's a big physical corner, and he fits our mold of big physical corner. So it would make schematically sense, not just because of who his dad was, but schematically that makes sense.
Absolutely. A couple things here, guys. Alan Faneca, the Hall of Fame guard, Pittsburgh Steelers guard. He will be announcing the second round
top
pick.
model of the year.
So there you go, the Derpy. Tomorrow when you're there, he will be announcing the second round pick. Also, Alex Highsmith and Lamar Woodley will be announcing the fourth round pick. The following day, I think it said Woodley is in Mexico, so it's going to be some kind of
Yeah, they're
video.
gonna be in Mexico City.
Stop
Yeah.
it. You stop it.
What's that?
My dog. Sorry.
He's yelling at his dog.
You know what? Derby has his
He
thing
didn't
on
mute
mute.
himself.
Yeah, Derby
I
has his
have
thing
to
on
mute
mute 90% of the show.
We throw it to him. Nothing. Dog does something right on air.
It's all good, my man. The other thing is Pittsburgh
love
will
it.
also be vying, guys, for a bid to host the draft. I know this has come up in the past, but this is something that they're going to be tossing their hat in to try to do. I think that would be interesting, guys.
You imagine like getting around wherever they do it. Pittsburgh is not built
the infrastructure ain't great for that. You're right.
for at all.
But
I would not want to be in downtown Pittsburgh that weekend at all.
that's where we're sending Derpy. We're going to send.
I would be on vacation if I worked in Pittsburgh or lived in Pittsburgh. I'm going somewhere else.
So those couple things are pretty cool regarding the draft in Pittsburgh. I'm going to go off the draft off of Pittsburgh for a moment, just for a couple things. The New York Jets, they jumped in to the top 10 guys for odds of winning the Super Bowl this year with the pickup of Aaron Rodgers. The favorites in the odds are the Chiefs and the 49ers. But the Jets did jump into the top 10. I think that makes things certainly a lot more interesting. And I really, like I said yesterday, that really gums up the AFC East. And you could kind of, let them guys beat the shit out of each other for a while.
I
love
Can I
it.
ask you something?
Yeah.
No.
Scooby-Doo style. Who's under the mask? Brett Favre?
Well,
yeah, he's going to follow his career.
It's funny that you said that.
Just don't send inappropriate pictures, Aaron Rodgers. You'll do a lot better than Favre.
Did you see the meme that had Jordan Love and it was the 2038 team picture and he had his Jets uniform on?
Yes.
But also,
here's what I don't understand. Like, how are the 49ers favorite when,
they don't have a quarterback?
Brock Purdy, he played well down the stretch, but he might be out for the year.
Yeah, you're right. He would be out for the year. He might be out for the year. One thing about Brock Purdy, I like to see him from the beginning when people actually know about him, people prepare for him and things like that. But you're right. I mean, you got to have a quarterback situation. There's really nobody in the NFC beside the Detroit Lions that I'm really confident with in this football season.
Yeah, because like Minnesota, they collapsed in the playoffs. I'm sorry.
Maybe the Giants are asleep.
Who's their quarterback? I always forget his name.
Yeah,
it's on the tip of my tongue.
Minnesota quarterback.
What team?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, what's his name?
Cousins? No.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins. Yeah, everyone
so
fawns all over him. Like, oh, he's an MVP type candidate. But he put his numbers are fantasy football numbers. Like you watch him play, and he don't feel inspired. You don't think, oh, Kirk Cousins, he's going to go down and lead this team. No. I'm sorry, you got the best.
Giants.
You got the best wide receiver in the game, one of the best running backs in the game. You better be able to produce in that offense. And the same thing with the Giants, like their quarterback situation. Daniel Jones.
I know.
Like you have weapons on the team. You have pretty good receivers. You got a damn good running back, good line, a good defense. You need a quarterback, and you get Daniel Jones. I just don't.
I mean, this team has to beat out the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to
technically they got worse.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they did. No two ways about it.
They lost players, but they still they drafted well last year. And
they're
those
probably
guys
going to draft well.
We want to say
a nice early pick.
Yeah. If we keep saying that if our draft picks make the next step, the Eagles draft picks, if they make the next step, have really good players ready to go too.
I think the NFC feels weak. I think the AFC is getting that shift of power back. Every team, you go through the teams.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of good quarterbacks. The AFC is filled with good quarterbacks. I just feel that shift is moving back to the AFC side. I don't really see there's no front runner, in my opinion. It should be the 49ers, but again, they have no quarterback. They literally
like the Cowboys should be up there too. They have a damn good defense.
Yeah.
They got Pollard. If they can get him signed off the franchise tag, they have good weapons. The CeeDee Lamb's a beast, but once again, Dak Prescott's not the guy. He puts up good numbers. He'll win you games in the regular season. I just don't, he has that Tony Romo vibe. I don't trust him in the crunch down the stretch. Like there's good teams, but not the good quarterbacks. The AFC has the good quarterbacks and the good teams.
Yeah.
I just fear
you know,
like
it
the
takes
AFC, the AFC can end up
it has a
beating each
pendulum
other
swing
up.
to it.
Yeah, and like my God, the '90s was nothing but the NFC. Now
Mhm.
it's swinging back over to the AFC. Then
You know, and
like
then
you
it was
said,
the Brady age where it was all AFC, and then it went
yeah,
to the
you're
NFC. Now it's
see,
back to the AFC. So it does that. I mean,
yeah.
one question I do have, please explain this to me. I don't know if I'm reading it right. It doesn't really make much sense to me. Aaron Rodgers on the Zach Wilson comment, where Zach Wilson, of course, said he's going to make. He says he's going to make whatever veteran
Mm-hmm.
quarterback's life a living hell. And Rodgers, he says he's going to make my life a living hell in practice. I'm going to make his life heaven off the field. What does this mean? Can anybody? I can't comprehend.
Like take all the spotlight, all the pressure, media pressure off of him, so Zach Wilson can just go do his own thing.
Is that what it's about?
And develop on his own. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Is like, okay, the media is going to be focusing their attention on me. Now they're going to love you. If I mess up, you're the backup quarterback. Now the backup quarterback's usually the favorite in every town. Maybe that's what he's saying. Or he's saying, hey, I got some hot milfs for you, Zach.
Derpy. He says, quote, he's going to make my life a living hell in practice. I'm going to make his life heaven off the field. What does that mean to you? I don't know. I literally can't comprehend. Yeah.
Was that Rodgers or Wilson or Wilson to Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers that was Aaron Rodgers in response to Wilson saying that he was going to make the whichever veteran comes to living hell in practice. And Rodgers says in return. And Rodgers says in return, he says, he's going to make my life hell in practice. I'm going to make his life heaven off the field. It's confusing, isn't it?
Yes, but that's the beauty of it, though, because both QBs are drama divas.
How is Zach Wilson a drama diva?
Fun. He's banging everybody's mom.
Exactly.
But hey, that's not his fault, man. That's not his fault. That's the media blew that out of
proportion. Banging everyone's mom.
He banged one dude's mom.
That's so that we know.
So at least we know.
You know he banged at least one dude's mom.
He's not bragging about it. People are releasing it for him.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll hear more.
That was like his ex. Didn't he bang like his ex's mom, and she's the one who released it?
Oh, that makes
Zach kept that shit on lockdown on his own.
I'm just saying it's the battle of the divas, and knowing Rodgers, he will end up getting his win, no matter what.
Poor Zach Wilson's catching smoke for just living his life, not saying a word.
Heck, he'll probably make him a bust.
That's what you get in the public eye, man.
I know. Poor dude's just living his best life, and people be shitting on him. You know what? Fuck Zach Wilson.
Hopkins and the Ravens. Now this talk is really starting to heat up.
Yeah.
If the Ravens pull Hopkins, now you can start speaking a little differently. He's a little bit older, as is the other receiver that they brought in. A couple guys that are not young anymore. But now you have a receiving core, though.
You do have a receiving core, and
my thing is how it will work out with the cap.
That's the case, yeah. But if you can somehow make it work,
they spent all their money on the guy on what's the linebacker? I can never remember his name.
Roquan Smith, and Patrick Queen. They re-signed them both.
All those guys.
So I don't know if they have much money left.
Yeah, I know. You let your star quarterback.
It's going to be one or the other, unless they figure out a way to figure out that cap. It's going to be one or the other, Lamar or Hopkins.
But if they can somehow make it work to get both, that would be a fun offense to watch.
Fun if your team isn't in the AFC North. I mean, I don't want to.
That's why.
Bring up the comparison I sent you yesterday, Ryan.
Which is that? Oh, with Lamar. I liked it. I did like that.
But no,
in comparison, it was Tim Tebow and Lamar.
Lamar has MVP. Tebow beat the Steelers.
And Lamar can't beat the Steelers.
That's true. He can get it. He can beat every team in the league except for the Steelers and the Chargers. Plays all other 29 teams.
And he does well. MVP.
MVP. He plays us in the Chargers. My man has a mental block. You know what? Shit happens.
Rumors, yes or no? Is this a rumor? Deion Sanders is losing a slew of people to the transfer portal. I mean, a lot of players. Is this true? Is this rumor? I don't know.
Colorado. Yeah, it's true. But he also said
like a lot of
Yeah,
players.
he said, "Hey, I'm bringing a bunch of people with me. If you don't think you're going to be able to play here, enter the portal." He told them flat out, like, "Hey, people are going to be coming from where I came from and probably from elsewhere. If you're a fringe player or you don't think you're going to be able to compete, enter the portal. Go to where you think you'll be able to play." And that's the message he told them. And so, yeah, now that
I don't even think
I think it was like
understand that
18 players,
because you
18
should be.
players joined the portal.
Yeah. So these people don't think that they could play under Deion Sanders. I mean,
He flat
Deion's-
out said a lot of you will not be playing on this team, so you might as well enter the portal.
Hmm.
So he flat out told a bunch of them, like, you're not going to be able to make it here.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and they are like, "All right, coach, you don't want us, we're gone." And okay, fair enough.
It's gonna be interesting, man. His
Yeah.
tenure at Colorado. See how that plays out.
Yeah. And first year is off to a wild start.
Yeah. But everybody, tonight, this evening, we have the draft again. That is 8 o'clock. Very excited. Everybody here's excited. We've got about 4 minutes left of the show. Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
DumYinzers.com. Head on over there. We have links to everything you need to follow the Two Dum Yinzers: YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Instagrams, Facebooks, Twitters. There's also a link to our merchandise store on there where you have some great, where our logo is right down here, that little microphone. We got the Two Dum Yinzers. We got the Verbal Terrorist shirt. We got the Bob Nothing shirt or designs. All that at twodumyinzers.com.
There you have it, everybody. Go check it out over www.twodumyinzers.com. Loads of cool stuff over there. I have a trivia draft trivia question. These guys down, up to the challenge.
I am ready.
All right.
Here we go.
Here we go. Which college has produced the most draft picks in NFL history?
Oh,
Was it A, Michigan, B, Notre Dame, C, USC, or D, Texas? Which college has produced the most draft picks in NFL history? A, Michigan, B, Notre Dame, C, USC, or D, Texas? Go ahead and take a minute to think about it. Get your answer.
holy moly.
That's a tough one, Mike.
All right. So, question of the day. Which college had produced the most draft picks in NFL history? They produced the most draft picks. A, Michigan, B, Notre Dame, C, USC, or D, Texas.
God.
Let's go with Derpy first.
I am mostly a UCLA fan when it comes to, Pac-12.
Okay.
But I'm going to go University of Spoiled Children with this one.
All right. So you got USC. You want to lock in on that?
Yes.
All right. That's a sensible pick. I don't think that that's a bad pick at all. Mike, which college had produced the most draft picks in NFL history? Derpy says USC.
There's a lot of good choices out there.
Yep.
I thought it was going to be Miami for some odd reason. Let's go with Notre Dame. I hate them. I'm going to go with Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, B. The Fighting Irish. You want to lock in on Notre Dame?
Yeah, lock in on Notre Dame.
All right. So there we have it. The guys are locked in. One more time. Which college has produced the most draft picks in NFL history? It was either A, Michigan, B, Notre Dame, C, USC, or D, Texas. Derpy says USC. Mike says Notre Dame. The answer, guys, is B. Notre Dame.
Wow.
The they produced the most draft picks in NFL history. There you have it, everybody. Notre Dame, the Irish. That's a surprise, as you said.
Yeah.
That is a big surprise.
And I could think of about 5 other colleges that you could put on this list that would throw you off just as much. As again,
Yeah,
Miami, Alabama,
Ohio State, Georgia.
State. The list really goes on. So, yes, we all learned something today, I think, on draft day. We learned something about the draft on draft day. There you have it, everybody. Tonight, 8 o'clock, don't miss it. We will be talking heavily tomorrow, finishing out the week. Tomorrow will be day 2 of the draft, of course. But tonight, the big one, let's see who the first round picks are, the number one picks of all the teams in the NFL. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I can't wait.
We get off the air here 10 minutes from now. The Pittsburgh Pirates start. Let's see if they could win this rubber match game against the Dodgers and win this series. Go to Washington with a win. Anybody else? Mike, you got anything before we take off for today?
Surprise pick. I'm going to say for the Steelers will be Brian Branch.
Brian Branch. Okay. Derpy,
safety corner out of Alabama.
Derpy, who's your pick? Who do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers take today?
Joey Porter Jr.
All right. There you have it. Brian Branch, Joey Porter Jr. I'm going to say that they get a tackle. I'm going to go with the tackle. I don't know who. I don't know where. I don't know why. I think going for either one of these picks, cornerback or tackle, is the right move. They both took corner, so I'm going to go with the tackle just to be difficult. But there you have it, everybody. For the two Dum Yinzers, enjoy this, guys. Tonight, the draft.
Yes.
You wait all year for this. Enjoy it and come back
Christmas,
tomorrow. We'll be
baby.
talking
Season
about it.
starts tonight.
For Mike, Derpy, Ryan, the